No. That's certain movies. Like Eternals is ass. I'm sorry.
Cut! Okay, everyone.
Anyway, sounds like we're talking about Doctor Strange, so let's get into it.
Yes, today we are talking about Doctor Strange.
We got another movie
If you haven't
review.
seen it, I urge you to see it. It is definitely worth it for me. And I hope you guys think the same, because we saw it in IMAX and that issue was expensive. All right, so.
That sound, jeez.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Man.
Like with these Marvel movies, just see them in IMAX. Like that experience
Word.
will just blow your ears away. Both.
I agree.
I highly recommend it.
But now people are going to say we're highly overrating them. You know, it's not worth it.
Oh, IMAX?
Nah, not IMAX, but Marvel movies in general.
No. That's certain movies. Like Eternals is ass. I'm sorry. It's ass.
Cut! Okay, everyone, that was good. I think we could do 10% better. That was beautiful.
Very nice, sir.
Are you mental? Hide!
We need action sequences.
Listen.
Don't do it to yourself. I watched the movies
Yo,
that actually
listen,
built itself
Rotten
up.
Tomatoes has made the worst reviews about some of the best movies and the best reviews about some of the worst movies. So I'm not even going.
That's why you pay more attention to audience score. In this instance, I think, oh yeah, because we're gonna spoil it for you with this. But in terms of like characters and things like that, I enjoyed the cast and everything. I was happy that we got an actual Doctor Strange led movie in the first place, because my man's been out here carrying the MCU on his back post Avengers.
He really has.
My man been out here. Bro, it's just, this man, BenedictCumberbatch, is not getting a break. I remember seeing something about saying he might be taking a break from acting. I'm like, yeah, the way he been carrying Marvel on his back since 2016. Had his movie. He had to carry
You're about to need a
Infinity War.
chiropractor while he on break. Like,
His heart rate is getting dangerously high.
He looks all right to me.
He was carrying it. He was about all the work in Infinity War that he had to his work at Endgame.
I mean, look, you dropped $3 billion movies, and we all know. Look, let's not even front. This movie's gonna make it to $1 billion. Let's just.
I mean, look at
close enough
Spider-Man,
to $1
bro.
billion.
This man was just in a movie with Spider-Man 5 months ago. That's what I find hilarious. This man was a part of a movie that made over $1 billion. Then he going to
Drop another
movie.
billion. Yes.
Like right now, I don't know how the MCU's direction is going, but with this man, like at like literally Doctor Strange, he's just balling right now.
Exactly. So if he says he wants to stop acting, I don't blame him.
Nah, like,
Man, go
and
chill and
he
do
said
whatever
he's
he
just
wants
taking
now.
a break, bro. I'm like, I ain't not gonna
he
take
about
a
to
break.
pull a Hugh Jackman.
Yep.
He earned his keep too.
Shit.
Oh yeah,
Wolverine?
Wolverine.
Bro, he was
Right.
there for all the good and bad movies. And when he was in the good movies, he was amazing. And when he was in the bad movies, he was still great to watch, even when they were terrible. But that's just how good he was.
All right. So, but does Benedict Cumberbatch does this movie justice? I forgot English.
Oh yeah, bro. His acting is he's an amazing actor. He's always doing his role. He plays Doctor Strange perfectly, honestly. How he is, his movements, and his humor is great too.
I did. Honestly, I did enjoy that.
Yep. Strange's humor is awesome.
And it wasn't like corny humor. It fit his character.
Yeah. Because that's how he thought. He thought
And
of
in
himself
terms-
to a
That's
high
what we doing,
extent.
bro.
And also in terms of the initial plot, I know a lot of people was expecting it to go one way, so it not following the exact story that the trailer made it seem like it was gonna have
I mean,
is a big problem with people that I noticed.
like
but
I said, it's just
you gotta give it credit for what it did. You gotta let it rock for what it did.
I mean, like I
didn't
said,
take a
I
bad
don't,
turn.
I don't know exactly public perception of it. I know there's just expectations that people have because no expectations be hella realistic.
So
But I
that's
think-
funny to me because I actually did not mind the redirection of the trailer.
Yeah,
did
honestly, it makes it more interesting when you're actually
Exactly.
watching the movie and you're seeing what's unfolding.
Because if you ask me, right, they honestly did not lie. Well, again, this is spoiler free, so I'm not gonna get into it.
Nah.
But there was no lies in the trailer. You know, it took the normal course of action that was expected, especially if you've seen WandaVision. It all makes sense. So
Yeah.
for people to say that their expectations, whatever, was let down because of the trailers, I disagree, honestly.
Yeah, and it's just people who wishing for unrealistic things.
So
Exactly.
you're here to
Some
take
people
all
are.
my blacks in the
You-
first game.
You kept betting.
Yeah, that's definitely on you, bro. That's a choice you made.
Match. Let's
Life
do it.
lesson right here. You live and die
I'm
by
not
your
gonna
choices.
go
Remember
back.
that.
False.
Well, at least let me count it.
You live and die by your choices. You seen it here. You seen it here.
I was literally.
Here's the beautiful part about this, right? You can always come
There's
back.
nothing
Never
beautiful about what
forget.
just happened to you, bro.
You can come back.
Just like
right?
Doctor Strange, you can use the time stone to correct it. Oh wait, that don't exist.
You know, there was a universe where you didn't screw up that bad.
Moral
Yes.
of the whole movie is never worry about your consequences.
I'm
Because there's
weak.
one version of you that did not make the same mistake.
Well, that
Yeah,
ain't
but this
you.
version of you right here gotta
ain't
live with it. So
But
worry about
yes,
All right,
that.
let's continue with the characters.
Yes,
though,
in
so.
terms of that, yeah, you got characters, plot. Like I said,
Strange
the
was
plot
good.
was a buildup of all the events that had been happening throughout the other movies, especially after what just happened in Spider-Man. But no spoilers for that, obviously. People didn't see it.
Well, before we could jump into the plot, I want to
Yeah.
specifically talk about Wanda.
I mean, yeah, in terms of
She
characters.
was obviously, you guys know.
Yeah, Wanda
Scarlet
definitely
Witch is a
shown
part
was
of it.
gonna
That's
play
in the
it.
trailers. I'm not spoiling,
Yeah.
okay?
WandaVision built up the role of Wanda going in this new direction with Wanda.
Westview.
Into the Scarlet Witch and whatnot. It's one of these movies that plays off heavily off of the TV shows because of Wanda's character.
You could say they had
So-
a vision about it.
So it's just about the interconnectivity of how the MCU goes about things. So I'm not surprised if other movies is gonna play out that way. Like I think there's a green light for Captain America 4, so that's probably gonna play off of Falcon and Winter Soldier since you know what I'm saying. Falcon is now Cap. So things like that.
I just want to say the emotional aspects that were taken from WandaVision
Yeah.
also came into this movie, which I thought was beautiful. Like,
Yeah. So
these-
Be careful.
some people might think
I'm
naturally.
not spoiling anything. I'm saying the emotional aspects.
Yes.
Because I just want to say, just give credit to these actors. They really did.
Oh,
a good
yeah,
job
that's a
with
fact.
it.
Yeah. So some people would think, you know, a lot of the elements that built up the building blocks for this movie was built around the other things, including the TV show work.
Yes.
So it's like if you're going into this and you did not watch WandaVision, you better go watch WandaVision or you're gonna have some confusion. But if you've been in the MCU game for a minute and you sat through hours and hours of movies and you can't watch a simple TV show, then this ain't for you. That's just how this is. This is what a world building giant that puts its material
Same thing
all
with
over
Loki.
the place. Yep.
I agree.
Oh
yeah, definitely. Well,
Yeah, and then you had the new character, AmericaChavez, who's kind of like the what would you say? She's the plot device of the movie, more or less, because she's the catalyst to the events that's playing out there. And as a character, I think she was pretty fine. She's a new character that popped up to the MCU, pretty solid. And then like they don't really say much about her powers in the trailers, so it's really one of those it's kind of wait and see situations.
y'all figure out if you go and watch it.
Yeah.
Again, you better watch it.
Which I like though because the trailers had some subversions. I didn't watch the final trailers because I'm like, bro, I'm already ready for the movie. I don't need to see nothing else.
I don't think it was necessary to see those final trailers.
Yeah, they were
that
doing.
brought out, honestly.
My thing is that you start ruining the impact of a movie. Like, thankfully, they didn't do that with Spider-Man. They knew not to. But I think the thing is why they did that is because with Spider-Man, they already have this expectation of you're in a multiverse. You're gonna see a lot of these elements of other characters that we've hinted at, but you've never seen. You know, and then but I'm like, you could read off the trailer. You know what I'm saying? You knew what you was paying for.
And see, there's so many characters in this movie that really just drove the plot. We can't talk about them all because again, it would be more spoilers.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, I don't think anybody disappointed
Nah.
in terms of both the acting and the characters. Even some side characters that really had nothing
Yep.
to do with the plot end up being either incredibly funny at the end or just
Funny.
interesting.
And I've got my dude Wong, bro. Oh man, I love that dude, son. He's so dope. And he's been popping up in random movies. I don't know if you remember, but he showed up as a cameo in Shang-Chi.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that.
How much is that?
I mean, nobody can forget that fight. That's
1, 2,
200.
200.
Nobody can forget that fight.
300.
Abomination.
300.
Okay, they stepping it up.
How about-
y'all see this fight going on here? 400.
400.
Well, Jake Wong got money to spare.
5.
Wait, there was a limited amount of times we could raise. No, oh wait,
No,
yeah,
it was
oh,
max.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
because you guys kept
max, yeah.
re-raising each other. So that's 6. Wait, plus this. That's 8. So
1,000.
that
Match.
1,000 each.
Straight.
Straight.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, same straight. Split. It's a split, baby.
I was like, that'll get better. I was just like, boy, stop boxing me.
What you mean stop boxing?
Man, literally just got that street. I was sitting on that dish. He
Bro.
didn't quit.
I was building up a flush too. There was mad hearts on the table. If the next one would have been a heart, I would have been good. You would have been upset.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, we did characters.
I think we
On to-
nailed. Yeah, we nailed characters. In terms
Yeah, I
of
don't
that.
think we gotta talk too much more.
Not much in terms of the spoiler end. Yeah,
Oh,
because
and don't
most
forget,
of those,
it's a multiverse thing, so there's characters, and then there's
there's
characters'
cameos and
characters.
things like that you just gotta go and see to understand.
not
But
characters.
As a matter of fact,
But
I
these
recommend y'all
cameos
go
is
see the movie in 3D.
shut up.
See
Other
the
than
movie in
that,
3D.
There's a lot of CG aspects to the movie. Some of it could be a little jarring at points, and other times when it was at, well, you knew where the budget was at, of course. CG ain't perfect, but
So
I think
that's
it
the
was
one
a
thing
good effect.
I will knock on this movie, because again, we going in settings the what do they call it?
CG?
Not the CG, when they make the whole, I guess, drawbacks or whatever. When they make when they make a set, right? With the
Production?
locations,
Yeah, the
whatever.
production.
The locations
Yeah.
for
The
each
production set and
each
stuff.
scene,
Yep.
it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything was nice. Just that when they would throw in some of the CG,
Locations?
it was like, damn.
Nah. Some CG.
There's a
some
name for it.
CG.
I'm gonna get it.
But it's very rare, honestly. Like, there's just a scene that is shown in the trailer of Doctor Strange as his body is contorting through dimensions. That was in the trailer. In terms of that looking the way that it does was designed that way.
See,
it was
that's fine,
intended
though.
for that.
That's
effect.
fine, because
The only times where it wasn't the best was like late, and it was very few things. Other than that, majority of it was pretty good. The set production is always great. Marvel knows what they're doing. with set.
Okay, set production.
Because
let's call it that.
look at freaking No Way Home. No Way Home, you would think was in New York, but it was mostly CG. And just look at how well designed that it was. They had the budget on
But that's what
that.
I'm saying. They could do that. But
Yeah,
there's
but
some things,
it's very few things that look a little
Strange.
off-putting. That's strange.
But yeah, don't think that'll ruin.
No, it's very
Your,
minute. The average
experience
person
in the
is
movie.
not going to be
Yeah.
paying attention to that.
Exactly.
Other than that, you have musical score and everything. Music is great. There's some scenes that are just hilarious.
The music was
honestly.
certainly great.
Definitely. And just and yeah, it was just nice to see Doctor Strange in terms of his story develop after all this time. In terms of like he's been a part of groups, but it has been a while since it's been about himself. So there's little things from his first movie that came out 6 years ago that if you might not remember, you might be like, do I remember this character? So it might be good to get a little refresher course if you haven't seen the first movie in a minute, because they take a bunch of pieces from that movie and bring it in here.
Oh yeah.
But the plot stuff focuses on a lot of the latest events, like after Spider-Man, things like that.
They did even mention that too.
Yeah. So
But you got to mention Spider-Man. You don't just.
of course,
not bring up
because he was a
Spider-Man
part of a
after he was-
multiverse thing. Yeah,
Exactly.
he's a part of it.
And that did lead into.
Mm-hmm.
So now going into the actual plot of it, is it worth sitting for 2 hours to watch that movie?
Yeah,
Of course it is.
pretty much.
Every
You know, it's crazy. I heard that it was like it got its runtime cut down. I actually was hearing, but I gotta look more into it.
There
That there
was
was more
more?
to it. Maybe deleted scenes and whatnot. Guess we'll find out later on.
Yeah, and I think.
But
that-
keep your expectations realistic. The problem is that will make people feel it's underwhelming is unrealistic expectations. That's the whole thing. Like you're about to see like the resurrection of the entire world. Like I think what it wasn't gonna go all out crazy. It's not even Avengers level, and it seems like they ain't even doing
Like
any more
everybody's
Avengers
expecting
movies.
every single cosmic entity in the Marvel universe to
That's
just pop
what
up for this
that's
one
what I'm
movie, and then
saying.
what are they all gonna do in the spotlight at the same time? Come on.
I think it did what it did, and then honestly, it just builds up something for the future for us to see later on. That's gonna be pretty dope.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. So we just gotta wait and see with that.
Movie.
But we definitely got to do a spoiler review so I can actually start saying wow that blew.
And I can
But with
actually
this to the
give
best
a
of our
real opinion.
ability.
And I can actually give a real opinion on
Yep.
it. Besides, I
Characters-
like the movie.
Right. A lot of things are built up from characters. So it's one of those more character driven type of pieces more than like heavy plot. That's one of those. So if you're emotionally invested in the characters that they've been working on for a long period of time, you'd definitely be eaten thoroughly here. And if anything, No Way Home is also another character piece versus a heavy plot narrative piece as well. Because it's really driven by the character of Spider-Man and what he means. Versus the just, some gigantic story. That's what we had Avengers for. You know what I mean? Doctor
That is.
Strange's movie is about himself.
I would say that was more about redemption. Doctor Strange was more about character flaws and just being able to rely on other people.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what you learn in Avengers.
True. I mean, that kind of is the whole thing about Avengers, right? Just relying on your friends to help out.
That's the reason why they're a team.
Yep.
Well, one can't do, the other does, and they work together with their
And so
strength.
far, what I like post media after Avengers Infinity War, like each show makes references to how their personal lives was affected by the effects of what Thanos did with the snap. Since everybody knows about the snap at this point. And then each movie
You mean
gives
the
you a
blip?
bit of but each person gives you a bit of basis as to their own perspective and what happened in their own personal lives because of that effect. So it keeps showing you that ish causes a lot of other issues in people's lives. And in essence, he may have been defeated, but the things that he did is still causing the plot of the movies moving forward.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's been affecting each movie.
Oh, you know, it's one thing that's crazy. So I want you to say this. Remember what you were telling me about the fact that Raimi directed this movie?
Yeah.
All right, so tell me about those aspects.
The horror aspect. I was completely. Yeah. Well, I guess it's at that. Dang, I should have said this more through. But Sam Raimi is the director of this movie. Sam Raimi is the one who created the Spider-Man trilogy, and if anything, he's one of the big catalysts to what made Marvel movies have similar threads that eventually led to the MCU. So he plays a big role in it, so it's pretty interesting he got to do an MCU finally. But Raimi originally started out as a horror director. And one of the aspects is he has Bruce Campbell in a lot of his movies, and that character, that actor plays a role in his movies in different ways, which is pretty hilarious. If you've seen the Spider-Man movies, you know. So a character like that is brought in here. But in terms of what he does, this movie is PG-13, but man, oh man, do they stretch that ish to make it feel like horror. And if you see the Spider-Man movies and seeing that correlates to that, Spider-Man 2 where Doc Ock becomes Doc Ock and he starts freaking killing everybody inside of that hospital room, and you're just seeing people's like that scene where the lady's being dragged and you see her nails digging into the ground. Like, all these horror elements is there, and they were using different types of things to make those elements come out. It's just like, I was like, this movie was so close to R, my goodness. So you bringing these kids might end up terrified.
And that just added to how great the movie was. The antagonists were truly terrifying.
There's this horror factor that was just awesome. I just enjoyed the heck out of it. It's definitely one of the darker movies versus all the lighthearted stuff we've been getting. And
I didn't mind.
Yep. But one thing I like about this era of these MCU movies is it really should be called itself the emotional damage saga. Because that's what it seems to have been.
Facts. If there was any way to describe this whole saga, it is emotional damage.
Emotional. Like all the shows, like Loki, WandaVision, Moon Knight, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Everything is the
it's
emotional
good because it just shows
saga.
that everybody's human at the end of the day. And
exactly. Even though they have all these crazy powers, the humanity is ultimately why we resonate with them in the first place. But I think that's all I got to say about that. Yeah. You definitely hear more in our spoiler review.
Yeah, so you know how we have to end this every single time. What are your ratings? Let's start with Dante.
It's his forehead that got me.
It's always good to catch
I wonder why.
There's this like crinkle in your forehead as you was thinking about what am I even about to say right.
Why you have to start with me, bro? Like, y'all was the ones mainly conversating on
That's
it.
exactly why.
I mean, we were the ones trying our best to keep it spoiler free because Dante So was like, I'm about to spoil it.
Bro, you know what I wanted to spoil it?
That's how I was like, hold on. I did my best. We'll work on it in editing.
Me personally, I'm going to give it 4.
Okay. Right.
All right. Honestly, I want to give it a 4.5 so bad, but that one issue with the CGI,
Dang.
I'm sorry, I have to knock it to a 4. I want to give it a 4.5.
A whole half a point because
Spoken like a true editor, y'all.
Bro, because if you're making $1 billion off of a movie, you're not gonna tell me you're gonna make it perfect so nobody talks about it.
I mean, of course, yeah, but they got different. They
Bro,
got a lot of.
Boruto got dragged through the mud because of poor animation.
Okay, what?
Yeah, so there was some scene where Boruto was crying, and then, bruh.
Yeah,
they did not.
Well, that's Japanese animation, and of course, they let it go. It looked goofy.
For a very significant scene, they put more time and attention into that scene.
This is the thing.
They could have done the same for that
There's
movie.
so much, but with a movie and how it's set up, I think one of the other issues too is because this movie changed a lot of hands in terms of direction and whatnot, and then production value is going to good based on how much money they put into it. Yeah.
Alright, so continue.
Like yeah, in terms of like obviously it got a good amount of budget to it. It's very few instances you can see it. It's not really that bad.
I lost my immersion.
2 pair. Yeah, 2 pair. Boom.
Oh wow. Yep. Got it. Jeez.
Yeah. So.
Alright, so what's your rating?
4. I got a 4 for it.
Damn. How come not anything higher?
What? Nah, I think it's fine. It's like if I have to compare it to say Spider-Man, I think Spider-Man was a better film just in terms of structure and how they went about it. But Doctor Strange, in terms of what it executed, I think it executed well enough. It didn't have to be some crazy ass like super duper masterpiece or something. It's not like Infinity War to Endgame. Those are 5s. Like,
yeah.
And then I'm curious to see how they play out from here because I feel like there will be another big ensemble kind of thing since they're saying not Avengers, but there could be so many other names. They could be like, we're not doing Avengers anymore. Then I don't know, you hear New Avengers or some random new name or something like that.
New Avengers.
Yeah.
The Defenders. Let me say.
But I definitely enjoyed this, and I was happy that Doctor Strange finally got his foray into getting a dang sequel. That man been waiting.
Yeah, definitely.
Shoot.
Now we gotta see what Thor's up to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as you can see, Marvel remains consistent in
Yeah.
the quality of their production. So
Yeah. Here and there, they got some blunders. Eternals.